I think what I was struck by then and what I have found remarkable over the years is how grounded he is, what a decent person he is.
Throughout the Obama presidency, Michelle Obama has been seen as a constant presence, which helped her husband stay grounded amidst all the pressures of his position. But what if we tell you that there was another woman in the picture for Obama during that period? To many, this might come as a shocker, but there was another woman in Obama's life whose presence has been traced back to a time before the marriage to Michelle. She has been a huge influence in Obama's success, and we are about to tell you all about it today. Before we get into all that, let's take a look at what we already know. The relationship between Barack Obama and Michelle Robinson is one of mutual respect, mutual support, and camaraderie, well before the two were thrust into the international spotlight. Their marriage, which began with modest beginnings in the late 1980s, came to full bloom under the glare of the presidency. Barack and Michelle first met in 1989 at the Chicago law firm Sidley Austin, where Michelle had been assigned the duty to mentor Barack as a summer associate. Michelle, a Princeton and Harvard Law School graduate, was a bright star in the law firm. Barack, however, was a Harvard Law School student who was also famous for being intelligent and came from a quite unusual background, where he had worked as a community organizer in Chicago. Michelle did not wish to mentor him initially because she had heard that he was overqualified and conceited. Barack quickly comforted her worries with his humility and eagerness to learn about her work and life, and their professional relationship soon became intimate. Barack was astonished at Michelle's intelligence, confidence, and warmth, and likewise Michelle at Barack's commitment to social justice. They were tied together by their shared values and desire to transform the world. They balanced each other, and Michelle was the voice of reason for Barack's most ambitious aspirations, and they intellectually challenged each other as lovers. In 1991, Barack proposed to Michelle, and they got married on the 3rd of October, 1992, in a wedding ceremony at Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago. The wedding itself reflected their values and their own personalities, which balanced tradition with a sense of openness and community. Their vows were to each other and to the future that they were creating. As Barack's political career was getting off the ground, Michelle had an important role to play in being there for him while taking her own professional dreams forward. While Barack was campaigning for the Illinois State Senate in 1996, Michelle stood by his side, though she was establishing her own distinguished legal and subsequent public service career. She was his mentor and advisor, and frequently pushed him to remain committed to his beliefs. Respect was the cornerstone of their relationship, and Michelle's straightforwardness prevented Barack from ever losing sight of his aspiration to serve the masses. Together, they faced work pressure, family pressure, and Barack's political ambitions. When their daughters Malia and Sasha were born, Michelle had to make the difficult decision of resigning from her very profitable career to take care of their children. It was not an easy decision, but she had to do so in the best interest of their family, and because she trusted in Barack and what he was able to do. Barack also depended a lot on Michelle's brains and grit at this time, calling her his rock on more than one occasion. When Barack stood for the U.S. Senate in 2004 and then for president in 2008, Michelle was his biggest supporter. She campaigned energetically, using her wit and charm in her campaign to influence voters. She was also not afraid to inform the voters about the nasty side of politics and how that had affected her family. Michelle's honesty struck a chord with millions of Americans, and she became an unmistakable voice for her husband's hope and change agenda. Throughout Barack's presidency, Michelle's role as First Lady was unprecedented. She launched initiatives like Let's Move to combat childhood obesity and Reach Higher to push students toward college education. She became an international icon of style, poise, and strength as well. Meanwhile, Barack and Michelle relied on each other for emotional support and advice through it all. They did everything in their power to put the family first and to allow Malia and Sasha to enjoy a normal childhood as possible. Family nights and openness were the norm in the presence of White House demands. Michelle talked a lot about how they have to make efforts to keep their marriage intact in the midst of political demands. She and Barack made sure that they took time for date nights and kept their marriage from the intrusions of public life. Barack gave credit to Michelle for humbling and grounding him and always reminding him of the real-world implications of his decisions. She never had any hesitation in expressing truth to power, and he valued her honesty and intelligence. The Obamas' relationship was also characterized by an insistence on equality. Michelle was more than a supportive spouse. She was a partner in every possible sense of the word. She had her own career, her own voice, and her own authority that challenged Barack's leadership. They treated each other with respect and admiration both in public life and in speaking about each other. After their White House departure in 2017, the Obamas stuck together in post-presidency life. They established the Obama Foundation, which concentrated on empowering and inspiring the new generation of leaders. Michelle also wrote her memoir, Becoming, a global bestseller that offered candid insight into her life, her marriage, and her White House years. They have ridden the highs and lows of public life with poise and dignity, putting family and relationships first. Their story is of deep and lasting love that has spilled over to touch the lives of millions of individuals worldwide. They have all along demonstrated that being with one another is all about showing up for each other even during the worst moments. However, outside Michelle, Dr. Valerie Jarrett was another influential female figure in Barack's life. Dr. Valerie Jarrett has been a shaping influence in the life of Barack Obama throughout his career, election, and the years in the White House. She was one of the strong figures in his life prior to Michelle Obama and was an ever-present close advisor through the Obama years as president. Her work for the Obama administration cannot be measured, and the impact on Barack and Michelle Obama's lives cannot be overstated. The Obamas first met Valerie Jarrett in the late 1980s, when she served as an assistant to Chicago Mayor Richard M. Daley. Michelle worked at the law firm Sidley Austin, and Jarrett was her supervisor. Jarrett was impressed by Michelle's ability and potential the first time she met her, and they soon became friends. Jarrett already knew Barack Obama, who was then a young law student and community organizer. Jarrett was immediately smitten with Barack's intelligence, charisma, and vision for social change. She was one of his first allies, offering counsel and introducing him to the political and business circles of Chicago. Jarrett was a staunch supporter of Barack Obama from the beginning. She thought he had the potential to make a difference and saw in him the leadership skills of someone who could make that difference. During Barack's 1996 bid for the Illinois State Senate, Jarrett was a prime supporter, providing strategic insight and advice through the challenges of Chicago politics. Her personal understanding of the city's political atmosphere and extensive network of acquaintances were a blessing to Barack as he built his political life. As Barack's professional life advanced, so did Jarrett's position within it. She was a senior advisor and one of the high-profile members of his inner circle. In 2004, when Barack contested the U.S. Senate seat, Jarrett headed his campaign, gave strategic input, and helped manage the relations with the stakeholders. She was an asset to Barack's team due to her ability to appeal to people across all backgrounds and her political acumen. After his Senate campaign, Jarrett stayed at the center of his life, setting him up for national politics. In 2007, when Barack Obama came out and ran for president, Jarrett was one of his most experienced advisors. She played a key role in shaping his campaign strategy and counseling him on policy, message, and outreach. Her caution and skill in managing rough situations were an asset to the success of the campaign. Her labor laid the base for the mass support that was part of Barack's victory in 2008. During the Obama administration, Jarrett occupied a succession of top jobs, a testament to how much he depended on her talent. She was senior advisor to the president, a role in which she had open access to the Oval Office and could make general policy advice available throughout the administration. She was also the president's assistant for public engagement and intergovernmental affairs. where she assisted in making sure the voice of ordinary Americans was being heard in the White House. She coordinated the administration's communications with state and local governments, as well as with other advocacy groups and communities in this role. Her ability to offer candid advice and her close understanding of Barack's ambitions and values made her invaluable. She was said to be a rock in the midst of a hurricane, possessing the ability to seek common ground and unwavering commitment to the president and his agenda. One of Jarrett's lasting legacies was her role as a member of the administration's policy of diversity and inclusion. Jarrett was a staunch supporter of moving minorities and women into the higher levels of government, and she worked tirelessly to make the Obama administration a success. She made the government more representative and inclusive, providing a model for future administrations to follow. She was also close to Michelle Obama. The two were close friends who had been acquainted since the early Chicago years. Jarrett was a friend, confidant, and senior advisor to the First Lady. She had a significant role in assisting Michelle through the daily realities of the White House, offering advice and counsel as she started to roll out her own programs, including Let's Move and Reach Higher. Jarrett's ability to balance her work and relationships was a testament to her competence and dedication. In addition to her administrative responsibilities, Jarrett also had the task of managing the Obama's relations with external parties. She served as a liaison between corporate America and the White House, generating support for the administration's agenda and policy. Her ability to facilitate between the private and public sectors was pivotal in the achievement of many of the administration's programs, including the Affordable Care Act and economic stimulus from the 2008 financial crisis. Jarrett also carried her influence to the global level. She was a key player in advising the administration on how to approach international issues like economic growth and women's rights. She assisted in making the United States relations stronger with its greatest allies and partners worldwide. Throughout her time in the Obama administration, Jarrett was a source of strength and counsel to Michelle and Barack Obama. She was an anchor of steadiness in what was otherwise an unpredictable environment, guiding and counseling them at their most vulnerable points. Jarrett has continued to remain in the spotlight since her exit from the White House in 2017. She serves on the boards of several institutions, such as LIFT and the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and was appointed a Senior Distinguished Fellow at the University of Chicago Law School. She also wrote a memoir, Finding My Voice, My Journey to the West Wing and the Path Forward, which provided an insider's view of her experience in the Obama administration and her aspirations for the future. Her contribution to the administration's success was vast, and her legacy is what encourages people who desire to make their mark in the world. She provided a blueprint for the rest of us on the potential power of leadership, integrity, and unbreakable devotion to the values of justice and equality. Barack Obama's relationship with Valerie Jarrett was in fact very professional, founded on respect and mutual devotion to public service. Jarrett, as Obama's senior advisor and close friend, was defined by her ability to strategize, loyalty, and ability to solve tough political problems. Jarrett also had a good personal relationship with Michelle Obama. They share a relationship that was built upon trust, experience, and shared bond with each other. Jarrett's relationship with Michelle Obama began many years prior to Barack entering the national political arena. The two first met in the late 1980s when Michelle was employed at the law firm Sidley Austin, and Jarrett was her supervisor. Michelle, who had graduated from Harvard Law School, was assigned to mentor Barack, a summer associate at the firm. Jarrett soon grew to admire Michelle's work ethic, intelligence, and integrity, and the two women became fast friends. Jarrett became Michelle's mentor and then eventually a close friend and confidant. When Barack and Michelle started dating, Jarrett was among the first people Michelle introduced him to. Jarrett acted as a go-between to the couple for years, providing them with both advice and counsel. But her relationship with Michelle ran deeper than anyone ever imagined. Michelle often referred to Jarrett as her big sister, Jarrett, in turn, admired Michelle's strength, poise, and commitment to family and community. Jarrett's relationship with the Obama family was illustrated by her presence in their lives before Barack's presidency. She would drop by regularly at family gatherings, holidays, and milestones. Her bond with Malia and Sasha was extremely close. Jarrett was a trusted confidant in the girls' lives, offering advice and wisdom as they coped with the stresses of growing up in the public eye. She was consistently referred to as a second mother to the Obama kids, and she embraced this position lovingly and unselfishly. During President Barack's whole tenure in office, Jarrett's relationship with the Obama family became even stronger. She stayed in the White House for most of the time, officially as senior advisor but informally as part of the family. Jarrett was often spotted accompanying the Obamas to family night dinners, holiday parties, and other high-profile social gatherings. The greatest testament to Jarrett's intimate relationship with the Obama family is the manner in which she has shared the Thanksgiving dinner meal with them every year. Jarrett is a fixture at the Obamas' Thanksgiving tables, and they were always cozy and family-styled. She would often participate in family rituals, including the turkey pardon each year. Jarrett's presence at these dinners only solidified her honorary status as an Obama family member. Jarrett's acquaintance with Malia and Sasha was also seen in the time they spent together. Jarrett was always on hand for the girls when they needed her, taking them through school events, dance recitals, and so on. The fact that Jarrett was able to connect with the children on a personal level was evidence that Jarrett loved the children for who they were and was willing to be a role model to them. Michelle herself often said that she was glad to have Jarrett in her daughters' lives, confirming that Jarrett's advice and friendship meant everything to them. Jarrett's role as a family counselor extended to some of Obama's presidency's toughest moments. In every instance of heightened political drama or personal turmoil, Jarrett was a steady source of counsel and reassurance to both Barack and Michelle. Her skill at providing blunt advice while being extremely loyal was a major attraction. Michelle also often went to Jarrett for advice and opinion, most significantly on how to manage the challenges of public life to those of her family. One good instance of Jarrett's level of intimacy with the Obama family was in helping plan Malia's graduation from high school. As Malia was going to leave the White House and relocate to Harvard University, Jarrett was busy organizing the celebration so that it would be a memorable and special event for the family. Her keen eye for detail and her vast knowledge of the family values were evident in every single aspect of the celebration. Jarrett's work was proof of her commitment to advising the Obamas politically and also as a friend and member of their family. Jarrett's relationship with the Obama family continued beyond the presidency. After she departed the White House, Jarrett remained a close friend and advisor to the Obamas, offering advice and counsel as they embarked on their post-White House life. She paid regular visits with them in Washington, D.C., and also joined them regularly on family vacations and outings. Jarrett's long-standing connection with the Obamas reflects the stability of the relationship and the lasting impact that she has on their lives. Aside from her personal relationship with the Obama family, Jarrett's professional contributions to the administration were directly linked to her commitment to their shared ideals. She was a firm supporter of policies that encouraged equality, justice, and opportunity, and she helped to define the administration's response to issues like healthcare, education, and economic growth. Jarrett's rapport with the Obama family also transferred to her interviewing and public speaking. She always provided first-hand testimony to what an inspiration Michelle is in terms of her strength and endurance, calling her a role model and example. Jarrett's skill at explicating the vision and values of the Obamas in clear, sincere terms served to make her a good lobbyist for their legacy. Her public comments about the family were always characterized by an abiding sense of respect and affection, reflective of the true relationship she enjoyed with them. We hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and we will see you in the next one.